So, coming up this weekend, you have a special event, an Advent half day silent retreat. And in that is this word Rorate. It looks like Rorate. What is happening?
That's right, and St. Joseph will be a big part of it actually. So that's a great segue, great connection. So we're doing a couple of things. One is so the Rorate Mass is something that has become more popular over the years, over the recent years. There's just been an article on Catholic News Agency that you can look up called "Ancient Advent Mass Gains New Interest Among Younger Catholics." My first introduction to it was as a seminarian staying up in Lewiston with Father Nathan shortly after he was ordained. He did these for each Saturday of Advent up at his parish, either his first or second year of seminary or of his priesthood. And I think that was, as far as I know, the first time that it started happening here in our diocese. And then Father Joseph Lustig started doing it. And then I know Father Uhlencott and priest out in Idaho Falls have been doing it this year. And so and there may be other places as well. Here at Our Lady of the Valley, we're doing just this one for this year. So this last Saturday of Advent. And the name comes from the opening antiphon, which has to do with Rorate Celi. So I'll read it here for you. The uh, the English translation. So the Latin begins with "Rorate celi de super nubis pluant justuam," etc., etc. And here's how it goes: Shower, O heavens, from above, and let the skies rain down righteousness. Let the earth open that salvation may sprout forth, and let it cause righteousness to spring up also. I, the Lord, have created it. And that's from the prophet Isaiah. And so it's a votive mass for Our Lady on the Saturdays of Advent. But the thing that makes it really unique, at least immediately noticeable to our senses, is the fact that it starts before the sun rises. It starts early in the morning. And for here, we're going to start at 7:15 a.m. So it starts before the sun rises, and the church is only lit by candles. And so that's symbolizing, first of all, that as we come into the church and we see the warm candles inside the church, that is meant to be inviting to us, that the church is a warm, inviting place that we're being welcomed into. And this is supposed to be preparing our souls more and more to be an inviting place for the coming of Jesus, which will happen in just a few days at Christmas. And then as we're at in Mass, as the Mass progresses, the sun rises. And so you have to time the beginning of Mass to coincide with that, so that by the end of Mass, the sun has risen, and so now it's light out. And so that's the Rorata Mass itself. And we're kind of enveloping a silent half day retreat around that because we know Advent can be so busy and there's so many different pressures and stresses and duties and obligations that everybody has in preparation for Christmas. And so we wanted to provide something that would be really more prayerful and quiet and would give everyone opportunity to enter into a deeper relationship with the Lord in preparation for Christmas. And so we'll have periods of silent adoration and also a few conferences throughout the morning. And I'll give the first conference on St. Joseph, and then Father Julio will give a conference on Our Lady, and then Father Dominique from Verbum Spei will give a conference on the Holy Family as a whole, in a sense of us living with the Holy Family in Nazareth, right? Because we're gonna witness the birth of Jesus in a few days, and but the temptation is to say, okay, Jesus has been born, and so now let's hurry up and get to his mission and get to all his miracles and his teachings and his passion, Paschal mystery, his death and his resurrection. And we miss that. We miss a lot if we do that. Instead, we want to stay with Jesus in Nazareth as he is first an infant and he's totally dependent on Mary and Joseph. And then as a toddler and he's learning to walk and he's stumbling. And as he grows into his childhood. And then, as we know, he spent his silent years of 18 years, or however long, from 13 to, yeah, about 17, 18 years of his silent years in Nazareth. And this is extremely significant for, for his mission. And so we want to really, like in our spirit, this is significant historically, but it's significant for our spiritual life, right? To not think that we're just meant to do the things that Jesus did, or to really, just follow his teachings. I mean, that too, but it's really, his life growing in us, his life developing in us, and being with the Holy Family in Nazareth is a key aspect of that.
If you're just joining us here on Morning Light, it is our Man Up segment with Father Nelson Cintra from Our Lady of the Valley out in Caldwell, talking about an Advent half-day silent retreat. This will be Saturday, December 20th, and Mass begins at 7:15. Father, do people have to register, or can they just show up?
Everybody can just come to the Mass if they want to. In fact, we'll start adoration at 6:30 before that, so anybody can just come to adoration before, and then or just come for the Mass. You don't need to register for that. Bring a candle. Bring your own candle to hold. But that's that. No, nobody needs to register for that. But if people want to stay for the silent retreat, we're asking to register both. So we have an account for materials and things, but also so that we can prepare the right amount of breakfast, because we'll have breakfast in silence after Mass. And so you do that by going on our website, olbcaldwell.org/silent retreat.
Veni, veni, Emmanuel,